This is like a cornerstone for Nessus, put here by the Vex to mark linear time. It's been 127 of our years since Nessus last traveled through our system. I don't know how many Vex years that is. The Vex never leave decommissioned units out in the open like this. Claw marks around the fluid chamber. I think the Fallen drained this construct. Huh. We came all the way up here, and this access point won't even let me into the Vex network. I guess we should take that as a sign. Even broken Vex gates are pretty interesting. This one is emitting radio waves. I can almost... Okay, somehow the Vex are listening to classic rock from the Golden Age. They're death robots with good taste in music. Emergency off-site data storage for the Vex, but it's missing too many components to function. Too bad. I hear Ikora was looking for a weird, hovering static chrono drive to add to her office collection. They sure put this one out of the way. I was able to access their network for 2 cycles before they booted me. All I got was something about endless trees, or forest? Weird. This particle beam is responsible for holding this entire structure together. How do the Vex... No, don't think too hard about it. I'm still defragging from the last time I tried to figure out their physics. Putting a security node this close to a radiolarian waterfall is such an obvious trick to get us to fall off. Those Vex. Always the clever architects. This crystal has an energy signature, but it's here and also halfway across the planetoid. I think it fell into a Vex gate and got half teleported. Kind of like what happened to Cade. A conflux that's directly connected to Mars. The Vex there are having a heck of a time with the Red Legion, it seems like. Garden Gate gone. Bay lost. Bastion fallen. Huh. A random fallen spear, a long way from an owner. Be a lonely place to run into the Vex without backup. In some simulation of some far distant future on some alternate version of Nessus, this energy beam might serve some purpose that we understand. Not here, though. There's nothing special about this crystal shard. Well, other than it being buried in a radiolarian vapor cloud that carries the energy readings of 6 stars. Yeah, I guess that's pretty special. This must be scrap from the Exodus Black. Antennas like this were installed on colony ships for last-minute ionospheric composition during landings. This arc spear was never used, just leaning against a Golden Age agriculture container forever. I'm not sure the Fallen were really ready for what they found out here. I can relate. The Vex don't usually display trophies, but I can't see any other reason for why this device is here. Something related to the crash of the Exodus Black? What a bunch of jerks. Someone tried to reforge this conductive metal into, I'm not sure what. It must have been the Fallen, which means that they thought it was valuable. The surface of this goblin was oxidized by some kind of fallen energy weapon. Always interesting to see how such different races interact at a technological level. In this case, mostly they were trying to melt each other, but you get me. This thing is full of ether, but it's been diluted somehow. Maybe a byproduct of the weird atmosphere on Nessus. Or maybe things are more dire for the Fallen than we thought. This servitor shorted out when it tried to interface with the Exodus Black's network, and then limped out here to shut down. It looks like Failsafe wasn't gentle. Wonder what the Fallen are planning to do with these. Some kind of remote probes to study the Vex? Raw materials for something? The Fallen set up this terminal for remote access into the Exodus Black's security system. I could have told them that wouldn't work. Bet Failsafe had fun with them, though. Why set up a terminal this far from the Exodus Black? Must have been some kind of last-ditch effort by Failsafe's crew. Poor folks. This isn't like other Vex technology I've seen. I think it's a relic from past iterations. Or maybe future iterations. You can never tell with the Vex. Looks like the Vex didn't like the Fallen moving in on their territory. Interesting that they'd smash a servitor instead of trying to convert it. It may look like a big creepy eyeball, but I'm pretty sure this is just a Vex exhaust receptacle. Just don't touch it. A gold-plated Vex. We better not tell Cade. He'd come all the way out here just to melt it down and make it into a pistol. I don't know why the Vex would put a conflux all the way up here, unless it was for the view. But Vex aren't really big on aesthetics. This conflux is specifically attuned to exo programming. But why would the Vex have access to... Oh, it must be Cade. If I'm reading this right, when the Vex first installed them, there were over 200 of these here. But as the conversion process went along, they all got absorbed. The readings off of this construct. If I'm reading this right, it's been all across the galaxy. And I thought we were well-traveled. I'm getting some interesting signals here. This thing is connecting to something. Opposite Mercury's orbit on the far side of the sun. What's out there? All the foliage around this access point is somehow augmenting its firewall. I thought the trees were mostly organic, but just add this to the pile of things we don't understand about the Vex. Okay, so this gate is too small for a Hydra to fit through. But according to this, dozens of Hydras passed through before it broke down. So either the gate got smaller at some point, or there are hundreds of tiny Hydras out there somewhere. This device is ordinarily used to shield a Vex gate, but not anymore. It looks like a buckler from stories they used to tell in the city. The really old stories, before we even knew what a Vex was. I think they're running a test to see if they can get this thing to self-replicate. And failing, thank goodness. If the Vex were able to manipulate matter that easily, we'd be in a lot more trouble. This crystal's made of the same material as the lighthouse on Mercury. Remember the first time we went there? I wonder if it's still out there. The identification signatures are scrambled, but there was some kind of VIP on this shuttle when it went down. Maybe she was going to be a governor or something. Now she's the mayor of Vextown. This antenna snapped off an escape shuttle that didn't do a great job of escaping. No one made it out of the Exodus Black before it went down. There must be crashed shuttles all over Nessus. Thing is still online, and it's connected to fallen comms on Titan and in the EDZ, but those are the only places I'm seeing. Nothing on the Moon, or Venus, or Mars. Did the Red Legion wipe them out?